Identification. Things that make you real and interesting to someone else, breaking the ice, getting it started, and re-identifying. Here's the second part to a good presentation. It's called logic and reason. Logic and reason. This part of the presentation is called the facts of the presentation. If you're trying to make a sale or you're trying to sell somebody on something, whatever it is, right? You tell the kids it's 9 o'clock. Right? That may mean what, right? It's time to go to bed. It's 10 o'clock, whatever. That's the facts of the presentation. Now, when you get to the facts of any presentation and you're wanting to get some results, you're wanting to get some action, a decision, or you want to get somebody to buy, or to go your way, or to buy what you've got to say, make sure that the logic and reason part of your presentation is brief. If there's anywhere to be extra brief, this is it. The question always comes up, how many facts should you cover in any presentation? And here's the answer. Just enough. So that it makes sense. Now, some things you don't need to completely understand, just so that it makes sense. In the sales process we teach, make sure that the logic and reason part of your sales presentation is brief, brief. If you're in the real estate business, right, and you're selling a home, you just be brief with the logic and the reason, right? The dimensions of the house, and here's how much it costs, and here's where it is, and here's the location, and here's the description of the house, right? Just be very brief with the logic and the reason, okay? Because people primarily buy from emotion and not from logic. And we're going to get to the emotional part of the presentation here in just a moment. Most of our decisions are emotional. Here's how much logic we need. Enough logic to justify an emotional decision. Because most of our decisions are emotional. But we do need some logic so that if somebody puts it on us, and why'd you do that? See, we'll come up with all this great logic. But primarily it's emotional. It's like getting married. See, that's an emotional decision. Right. Say to the lady, why'd you marry him? Well, right, he's a good provider, right, got all this stuff. See, that's not really it, right? When your heart runs away with your head, I mean, you don't want to say that's what happened, right? I get my new Eldorado, right? I'm explaining to my staff, hey, the chairman's got to have a neat car. How would it look? Somebody come by the home office, right? And see the chairman running around in a 62 Chevy. I mean, you know, that's not really it, right? No. I bought it because I look good in that baby. I mean, that's why I bought it, right? I mean, here's where we tell the truth, right? You check yourself out in the plate glass windows. I mean, that's how you tell, right? But we all need a little logic, right? So in case somebody puts it on us, right, we got a little more orderly, you know, so that we won't look too crazy as to why we went for this, right? Guy goes for the Ferrari, right? It costs $800 for a tune-up, right? But he says, you ought to hear the sound. It's unbelievable. Emotions. We go for the emotion. So what you want to do is be logical, you know, develop the logic and reason, but make sure that you don't go on and on and on and on with too much logic. Don't repeat over and over and over the logic, or too much logic, because then you'll destroy what you've set up as a good presentation. Have you heard this expression? You can talk somebody into buying, keep on talking, finally talk them out of buying. That's because you keep overloading with too much logic. See, if you walk into the showroom of a new car dealer, right, and the salesman has got you, he doesn't give you all the facts. There's probably 5,000 facts about an automobile, but you don't need all 5,000 facts to make a decision. just about a half dozen facts is about all you need. Now, if he takes you back in the shop and starts going through the shop manual and says, let me explain to you the left front wheel, you say, no, no, no. He says, wait till I get through that, the right front wheel, right? And you just all of a sudden say, you know, he's going to cover too much logic, too many facts, okay? You don't need 1,000 facts to make even an important decision. Just enough facts, right? What does it cost, and is it safe, and is it reliable, and does it have good gas mileage, and how about the style and the resale value, right? There's only about a half a dozen things to make up your mind. So you don't need all the facts. And here's a good thing to remember. Too much is too much, really, of anything. What if you sat down to a steak dinner and you were real hungry, so you cleaned it up? What if they cleared that away and brought you another one? Well, let's say you were really hungry, so you went for the second one. What if they cleared that away and brought you the third one? See, that third one doesn't look too good now. In fact, if you start on it, you'll probably lose the whole thing, right? All right, too much is too much. So you've got to learn to measure the logic and reason part of your presentation, just enough facts so that it makes sense, cover it accurately and briefly, the logic and reason part. It's 9 o'clock. You don't have to say that 99 times, maybe 2 or 3, and that's about it. And then get off of that and get to the real part that makes everybody to decide and to move and to change, okay?